Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com and type in promo code VOLS, that's VOLS, at checkout to fill your freezer with enough gourmet food to keep your cookouts going strong into the fall. That is omahasteaks.com, promo code VOLS.
There's that. Now, with that in mind, we've analyzed the game, sort of given our take on how we think Tennessee will do against LSU. Let's get to the actual prediction now. Zach, will I be a Debbie Downer once again? I guess we will see, but I'll throw it to you first. You were right about Tennessee beating Florida. I think weren't you pretty close on the score?
I think you so I had 34-23 and it was what 38-33
Okay, so I hit the 38 actually, didn't I?
for the wrong team.
Oh, for the right, that's right.
You had Florida
I said
38,
38.
Tennessee 35. So you were
Right.
actually very close to the point total.
Yeah. But okay, so 34-23 was yours, and then it was 38-33 final. I'll say to everybody who's watching, if you want to drop it in the comments, we'll take a look at your predictions too, alongside mine and Zach's. So just go ahead and tell us who you think's winning this game. Tennessee, 3.5-point favorite, according to our friends at Superbook Sports. Go bet on the game there. So there's the line. How you feeling about this one, Zach?
So I think I was a little more anxious and nervous about this game before watching LSU and Auburn play. I think there's obviously potential for Jaden Daniels to go crazy. He can run the ball. Can they defend it? How is it? Does he throw the ball more? I like Tennessee. I like the way it matches up though for Tennessee. I don't think this is going to be an offensive explosion game for Tennessee like we saw against Missouri last year. I don't think it's going to be like some 50-point, showing by Tennessee, but I do think they win by double digits. I have Tennessee winning 34-24. I think it has the potential, like I said earlier, to get a little ugly at times, like some of the games have been this year, because I think that's how teams think they can beat Tennessee. That it's got to be an ugly game, and I think that's what this will probably be, because that's kind of what LSU's played this year.
I absolutely agree with the ugly game part, specifically because it's on the road. I think if it was in Neyland Stadium, Tennessee would have a better chance of playing a crisp game. So Tennessee is the better team here. I actually think that 3.5 points might even be generous. I thought that the 6.5 versus Florida was generous to Florida. I thought Tennessee was a 15-point favorite in that game. They should have been. Ultimately, I think I was right about that, outside of Tennessee imploding in the last part of that game. Even though I picked Florida to win.
I was about to say, you still picked Florida.
I didn't go. Hey, go back and check. I said Tennessee was a 15-point favorite on paper. I said that in the show.
Yeah.
I do think Tennessee wins this game because it is at 11 a.m. Tennessee and Josh Heupel, famously morning folks. Heupel loves the greeting his players at 7 a.m. and all that stuff. I think they'll be ready for the early game, coming off of a bye week. Josh Heupel, 5-1 in his career, 6-1 in his career. Didn't you look that up last week? I think 6-1 coming off a bye week for Heupel.
That's correct. His only loss was to Memphis at UCF, which came down to a missed field goal.
That was a good rivalry back then, though, because I think that would have been between him and Norvell.
Yep.
From tailgate parties to busy weeknights, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouthwatering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Right now, take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their semi-annual sale. The sale only happens twice a year, and it is on right now. You get 50% off delicious customer favorites. And when you use promo code VOLS, that is VOLS at checkout, you get an additional $30 off your order. And guys, I've had the burgers, I've had the Franks, I've had the chicken from Omaha Steaks. It is all phenomenal. Comes in this great freezer packed way right to your door. Incredibly convenient. I can't say enough about it, honestly. So don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Vols at checkout and stock up on fall flavor today. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights with entrees that are ready before the kids can even say what's for dinner. And don't forget to use the promo code Vols at checkout and score your extra $30 off. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak, it is the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code Vols at checkout. Minimum order may be required. Omaha Steaks, promo code Vols.
I think all of those things working in Tennessee's favor, there's a very good reason that LSU fans were pissed about that start time and still are. And so I do think Tennessee's going to win. In terms of the final score, I agree that I think it's going to be ugly. But I do actually think that Tennessee, kind of similar to the Florida game, they pull away near the end. And then this time they don't fully implode. Now, LSU, we do have to point out, LSU has been good coming back late in games, down 17-0 against Auburn, came back, had to come back against Florida State and missed an extra point to lose. And, so they've been good late in games, but I think that Tennessee closes them out here because you don't have that supernatural Florida voodoo working over this one. And Tennessee, you've won there. You lost the last time you played there, but the time before that in 2005, you won. So,
which was a crazy game. It was a Monday night. They were displaced by
the
hurricane.
Katrina game.
Rick Clausen had to come lead them back, which was kind of funny since he had been at LSU before transferring.
Yeah. But I'll say 34-20. I think they win by 14 points, but they don't score 50, kind of how you said. So what was yours?
34-24.
34-24.
I will say, when me and you have had scores that are in the same range, that usually ends up being pretty close to what happens. So
yeah,
maybe this is good luck here for good sign here for Tennessee.
We'll speak it into existence there. Let's go through what some folks said here in the comments. Tennessee says 38-21. Jeff says 35-21. All of these are for Tennessee, for anyone that's just listening. Crazy Nug says 45-31 Tennessee. Michael says 41-34 Tennessee. Everybody kind of has a little more faith in Tennessee than we do in terms of scoring the ball. I could see it. I could absolutely see it. Just Tennessee hasn't broken 40 against a better team this season.
Well, I think LSU is going to. They run the ball a decent amount. I mean, that's how they beat Auburn. It takes time off the clock. It's less possessions that Tennessee gets. I mean, that's kind of the reasoning for my lower point total for Tennessee.
Yeah, same. Danny says 41-30 Vols, and then Educated Opinion says 41-28 Vols. So we're actually a little more bullish on the point margin, on Tennessee's winning margin over some of these, but we're not as bullish on Tennessee scoring 45 points in this one. So that is that. We both think Tennessee will win. I'm not Crazy Nugs. You're welcome. I didn't choose LSU in this. I mean, Tennessee's a better team. What am I going to say? And you don't have that supernatural history with LSU. I don't think that it carries that same mental block. And you got over that mental block against Florida. Like, that has me believing in this one. So I was right about my Pittsburgh pick. So I can choose Tennessee and get that right.
So one thing about Tennessee that kind of off the field is just the focus of this team. Josh Heupel's done a really good job of not pretending like the outside noise doesn't exist. Like, he's not trying to tell his players to not, to completely ignore it because he knows it's not possible. So why tell them to do something that's just not possible? So he's kind of approached it with this: embrace it, because it's a privilege to have this noise. It's a privilege to have people talking about you, but it means nothing if you go out and lay an egg in your next game and lose. So I think they've done a really good job of taking I know it's cliche, but it's the right approach, one week at a time, not looking ahead, taking your opponent very seriously, no matter who it is. So I think they're in the right mindset to not really have a letdown. I also think that the bye week, in addition to getting guys healthy, allowed Tennessee some time to emotionally come down from that Florida win.
Yeah,
because that could have been you go into the very next week against a team like LSU on the road. I feel like that could have been a setup for disaster for Tennessee. So you've kind of got the Florida games 2 weeks ago, whenever this game kicks off, that's out of your system. You've had a week to kind of decompress from that and then start getting ready for LSU. So I think that really works into Tennessee's favor too.
Absolutely. There's a lot working for Tennessee. in this one. I think it's going to be a little ugly if they do pull away. Like I think they will. I think it'll be late. It's going to be close and stressful, and that's the way that it is with Tennessee football. I think that's the Josh Heupel system now, just the way that it goes.
You win this game, you get to 5-0, and it's the scenario that we talked about before the season, where if you beat Florida and LSU, I mean, you're almost guaranteed a shot at 9-win regular season and 10 with the bowl, and really, you're really setting yourself up for 10-2, like you said. So, this is really one of the more important games left on the schedule. That Kentucky game looms large because that's going to be a tough game. Though I think Will Levis is almost taking a step back at this point. I mean, he was kind of the reason that they lost to Ole Miss.
Yeah,
him
he
not
was
taking care of the ball. So I mean, that's a game where Kentucky didn't have an answer for Tennessee's offense last year. If Tennessee can just defend him a little better, that's a game they should win by multiple scores too. But they're a well-coached team, so we'll get to that later on this month. But to me, this is the biggest game left on the schedule. As far as winnable games, I mean, Alabama and Georgia games, obviously huge, but you go into those games with no expectations.
Yeah, you'll be almost not carefree in that game, but you'll just be. There's no pressure.
It's not like the Florida game where you had to win the Florida game. Like if you lose a game where you're favored by 10 points at home against a new coach, that would have it would have been tough for Tennessee fans to swallow and to reconcile. Like, okay, this is Josh Heupel starting to fall into some of the same stuff that the old other coaches before him fell into. So you avoided that pitfall. Now you got another one here, and it's going to be tough because it's on the road.
Yeah, Educated Opinion says Hooker must stay healthy. That's she said. I heard him tell Dobbs last week that he doesn't know how to slide. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, he was on one of those.
Not ideal.
One of those NIL things that they're doing, Smoky Mountain. One of those things. I saw that as well. It's like, yeah, you somebody's got to go have a talk with Hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he played baseball growing up. Most of these guys did. Like, surely he had sliding practice. I mean, or a little league, you had a practice devoted to nothing but sliding. It's the same thing. Just like you're going inside your base.
Get down. And beyond that, so what I was going to say to your point before. No, I don't know what it was. Regardless, that's it. I think that's our prediction for the Tennessee game. We both think that Tennessee will win.